Recently I acquired the Code keyboard by WASD, and I love the thing. What makes it different from other keyboards I've used with my iPad is this one's mechanical and it requires a USB connection. I recently put together a video on setting up USB devices to an iPad and I'll link it below. The simple answer is all you're going to need is the camera connection kit from Apple. I recommend getting the one with the USB port and the Lightning port so you can charge while you use it. But if you want to hook up more than one USB device to an iPad at a time, I recommend checking out that other video. I've been wanting to try a mechanical keyboard with my iPad for a while now. Now that I've been writing and editing a lot, I thought a clicky keyboard might be handy to have. Having some feedback from mechanical keys just feels great. I know this sounds silly, but it's hard to explain why a mechanical keyboard is better than a non-mechanical keyboard without using it. Just imagine every time you hit a key you got feedback, saying that key was pressed. It's not slow or annoying, it just helps you move quicker because you know that last key was pressed. It kind of just makes you feel like you can type faster. But let's talk about the keyboard itself. When I was looking for a mechanical keyboard, the first thing I wanted was an 87 key profile. What that means is it's a full-size keyboard without a number pad. I'm used to not having a number pad with my keyboard, and I like having my notepad right next to me, and I figured having a number pad would just kind of push my notepad too far away. The second thing I wanted was the Cherry MX Blue switches. If this is your first mechanical keyboard, I highly recommend doing research into the key type that you will like. Key switches are what determines how clicky the keys are and how much force you need to press them to make them work. These keyboards aren't cheap and I would hate for you to get a keyboard you don't like, so definitely do some research before making a purchase. If you're still not sure about the key switches after doing some research, there are small testers you can order and try out. They're pretty cheap. The Cherry MX Blue key switches seem to be the sweet spot for those that type a lot. What drew me to the blue key switches are how clicky the keys feel. WASD offers a lot of different key switches for the Code keyboard, so if you don't like the blue ones, I'm sure the one that you like is probably there. The third thing I wanted was it to be backlit. I work in a dark room and it helps to have backlit keys. But to be honest, the real reason is it just looks really cool. The Code keyboard was the keyboard that matched all three of these points, plus it came highly recommended by the Wirecutter. Overall, I really like the keyboard. The build quality is amazing. You really get what you pay for with this device. The key quality is very strong. I feel like I can jump up and down on this thing and it won't break. Side note, don't jump up and down on this thing. I've been using this for over a week now and I can honestly say this is the best feeling keyboard I've ever used. For video editing, it's great to have the feedback of keys when I'm editing quick and using keyboard shortcuts. For writing code, I've never used a mechanical keyboard for that. But now I understand why developers really like them. It feels great to have the kickback when hitting a key, and maybe it's just me, but I really do feel like I type faster and more accurate with it. Seriously, I can't stress this enough. Typing feels fantastic, easily the best key feel out of any keyboard I've ever used. And on top of that, if you like that clicky sound mechanical keyboards make, this will be your new best friend. The design is beautiful. I love the all black look of the keyboard. I got the illuminated model, so when the lights come on, it just adds a little more something to my setup. The backlights have a lot of different light levels and are controlled from the keyboard. You can also just turn the lights off completely if you don't want them. There are so many different styles of the Code keyboard. Some come with number pads, others have different key switches, so see what you think would work for you. One cool thing about mechanical keyboards is you can change out the keycaps to whatever you want. I haven't yet, but I've been looking at some orange keycaps. WASD offers a number of modifications for their keyboards, so poke around on their website and I'll leave links in the description below. If you're interested in the Code keyboard, take note of the switches on the bottom and read the manual so you know it's set up in the right way. If you're going to use this with an iPad, you'll want to set it up as a Mac, and then swap the Alt and the blank keys so it'll be more like the Mac with the Command and Option keys in the right spot. WASD makes it really easy to do this by including a tool to remove the keycaps from the keyboard. To reattach, just put the key in the right spot and push down on it. There are immediate keys on the Code keyboard, but you have to flip one of the switches to enable them. They're just standard play, pause, skip, and volume controls. A big complaint for me is you have to hold down the function key in order to use them. I would like to be able to have just the media keys set as the default for those keys. Some parts where the keyboard falls short is it's very big, so this isn't going to be something you want to travel with. For me, I use my iPad at a desk a lot, so it works great for me. And to be completely fair, this keyboard was not designed for the iPad nor travel, so it's not a knock against the keyboard at all, but more of a caution against those that do want to travel with their iPads. The other downside of the keyboard being so big is you have to angle your wrist up, and there's no built-in wrist rest on the keyboard. This kind of started hurting my wrist almost immediately for me, so I ordered a wrist rest from Amazon and this fixed my issue. It's really comfortable to type with now and I really recommend it. So if you do want to get this keyboard, I recommend looking into wrist rests. They're pretty cheap on Amazon. The next is it destroys your battery life if you aren't plugged into power. Again, I use this at my desk, so it's not a big deal, but this is why I recommend getting the camera connection kit with a lightning port. And just to repeat, this keyboard wasn't designed for this kind of setup. I'm just using it this way because it's what works for me, and I really do enjoy using this keyboard. So it's not a knock against the keyboard or the manufacturer at all. The final downside, if you haven't used a mechanical keyboard before, you may not know about this, but mechanical keyboards are very loud. If you work in an office or around people, I wouldn't recommend this. You're going to make a lot of people mad. There are O-rings you can get to quiet the keyboard down if that's a huge deal. I haven't used them myself, but I heard if you get the right ones, it works very well for the mechanical keyboards. I wear big headphones a lot when I work, so I don't really hear the keys and it doesn't bother me. I just hear kind of a minimal sound with music drowning most of the noise out. I'm going to keep using my Code keyboard. I absolutely love it. There are a few downsides, but they're very manageable for me, and most of the downsides are because I'm using this with an iPad, which it's not intended for. Nobody is coming to take away my other keyboards, and I may switch back and forth between them from time to time. The keyboard feels really good to use and type with. I honestly feel like I can type as hard as I want and I won't break the thing. I haven't done any scientific testing or anything, but I honestly do feel like I type faster with it. I'm really impressed by the design and the build quality of the Code keyboard, and I recommend it if you're looking for a similar setup. I'm going to put links to everything I mentioned before. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what I do with this channel, please like this video and subscribe if you're not already. Have an awesome day.